And we're back with ckscast number 10. And we don't have the logo today for in-your-face comedy because I'm too stupid and I forgot to charge something up. But if you're wondering about in-your-face shows, this week we got our first show of the year, the open mic. We had the bar where we do it was shut a little bit longer. But I'm excited for the first open mic of the year, and we're there every Thursday at Robin's in Zurich near Central. And I'm just whipping out a high-speed podcast because I had a busy weekend, so I didn't get a chance to do it. So I'm doing it today because this is like random stuff that's happening here. And today we got to talk about Clint Eastwood because he's put out a new movie on Netflix, and I'm going to review this movie based on having watched half the movie. And I mean, okay, let's just say I love slow burn movies. I like slow burn movies. Just the best. It's just like, I don't know, like True Detective, especially, of course, if you've watched True Detective, the first season is the best of that. There's some good ones later. That one with the dude chopping off limbs. Oh, wait, no, that's Goliath. I'm mixing it up there. Goliath, another great slow burn series. Because, you know, I identify with these characters, these old men that have made all kinds of mistakes in my life, in their life, not my life. I mean, I've never made any mistakes in my life. So I can relate to these guys, and, you know, they're not these young fit dudes that can get into scraps. They're like, but they're older. They're more cunning. They can take the punishment, which, yes, describes how I see myself. I can take a lot of punishment. But anyway, yeah, slow burn movie. Another great one actually on Amazon Prime is Bosch. I love that. It's a detective series. You don't have to think watching it. You're just watching this old dude who's a bit overweight, like dealing with all this stuff, and he's got this mean attitude, but he's highly professional. It's just hitting all my buttons. I'm just like, oh, I can relate to this. But then, like last night, I wanted to just like chill out in the evening, and I see there's a new Clint Eastwood movie called Cry Macho, and I thought, Clint Eastwood, really? Like making movies still? But okay, it's Clint Eastwood. Me and Clint, we have a long history together, you know, from the early days of Fistful of Dollars and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That is a fantastic movie. One of the first movies that, you know, really blew my mind back in the days. Enrico, what's his face? I don't know, whoever directed that Italian spaghetti western. And of course, Unforgiven, another great Clint Eastwood classic. That's a great movie. And that Unforgiven should have been Clint Eastwood's last movie because he's already looking like old and haggard. And then he gives those Clint Eastwood eyes, or like something like this. I look into you. I've done bad things in my life, and I have these. My Clint Eastwood facial expression, but. But then I saw Cry Macho last night, and what the hell is going on? Like, Clint, dude, you have a family. You've got grandchildren, I believe. I haven't actually done my research on this. Somebody should have told Clint Eastwood that it's over. It's finished, Granddad. You're an amazing actor. You've got this wonderful, like history of all these movies you made. Like, don't ruin it as an old man. And what's even more amazing is I believe it's his son, Sean Eastwood, has been trying to get into the movie business. And for a while, he was getting like pushed around all the kind of places where you see him. He's even on Joe Rogan's podcast. Haven't really heard much from Sean Eastwood. Actually, so this movie, Cry Macho, let's just quickly whip it up here. This is Cry Macho. It's on Netflix right now. This picture of Clint Eastwood, I mean, that's definitely edited because I'm just trying to increase the size. Like, he looks way worse than that in this movie. And it's just like, please, like, really? And I mean, Sean Eastwood is his son. I guess it's a classic case of a son who's like living in the shadow of his dad. Sean, I don't know what movies he made, but he's made one or two where he's like playing these action heroes. So he's basically trying to be his dad again in a time where movies are not about making things for like strong, silent, macho dudes anymore. I mean, probably it would be best for Sean Eastwood to play a movie where he's like, I don't know, he's recently transitioned or something. Or, you know, like, but anyway, so Cry Macho, what the hell was going on in this movie? I mean, basically, so it's about Clint Eastwood. He's like this cowboy. He goes to Mexico to help like this, and Clint Eastwood can barely stand on his own. He's so frail. It looks like you blow on him, he falls over and dies. It's like, what? Cry? It should be cry for, like, somebody put Clint Eastwood in a home, please, because this is not good. And the movie, and it's like his buddy says, yeah, you got to go and get my son. You know, I had this thing with this Mexican woman, but the boy's getting abused. I'm like, okay. So we're going to be talking, is this like Sound of Freedom kind of vibes coming out of this movie? And so far, it's been addressed. So I've watched like the first half of the movie. This is how shit this movie review is that I don't even know what happens at the end of the movie. But so far, it's like various scenes of Clint Eastwood walking around holding on to things so he can barely stand. There's one moment where Clint Eastwood punches this dude who's like 28 in the face, and the guy just goes down and does not retaliate. It's like like you could flick Clint Eastwood and it's over. It's beyond ridiculous. I mean, even the premise that a man this old and frail is going to be able to drive his car down to Mexico. Like, I mean, for me, when I'm 50, when I go on a long journey, I actually have to like think about logistics. I got to be well hydrated. You know, like, how am I going to, like, if I'm taking a flight somewhere, like, it has a toll on your body that you feel at 50. For me, going down to Mexico, where it's like, I don't know, like, I've never been to Mexico, but I mean, just the basic environmental concerns. It's like spicy food. It's super hot. You know, there's going to be bugs in your hotel room. Of course, Clint Eastwood, being a cowboy, doesn't even sleep. He sleeps on the floor. There's a scene where he's lying down to like sleep above the stars on the ground. I'm like, I'm like imagining how they shot that. He just went down for a little bit. He's just there, and then like 3 people have to run over to help him up again. He's like, oh, my back. But then there's this weird dynamic. So he's going to rescue this boy, and there's all this like implied references to the fact that the boy's mom was sex trafficking, basically, and you know, like, he meets the boy, and the boy's going, yeah, my mum told me that I had to treat all these people as my uncle. But at the same point, this movie's like weirdly comical. Like, this boy has been living on the streets of Mexico City, making money with his red cock. He's there's no joke. It's not the cock. He's got a chicken, a male chicken, that he puts into cockfighting battles, and that's how he's been making money. And there's all kinds of like stupid innuendo, like, I'm sat here with this boy and his red cock. What the fuck? It's like, this is not Sound of Freedom. This is Sound of Clint Eastwood's joints cracking. I mean, no, like, just no. And the boy is like weirdly, like, he's supposed to be this mean, tough kid, but the boy is like weirdly like straight out of acting school, and like, I don't know. And Clint Eastwood, you can hear a few times he almost fumbles a line. Like, it's just, what the hell, man? Like, Clint Eastwood, you were my hero, man, once upon a time. And actually, a weird aside. There's a movie called Paint the Town Red. Back in my 20s, I was a nerd working in IT and software, and I started going to this I felt I needed to interact more with human beings. And so I went to this acting school in the evenings called the Method Studio in London. And it's, they do these evening acting classes where they teach method acting. What I learned, I did it for a year, is that I should never be an actor. I'm shit at it. but actually, one of my teachers, her name was Marion. She'd almost made it to top level in Hollywood, and her claim to fame was 2 movies. She plays the drunken wife in The Godfather, Fredo's drunken wife. So that's her. And then she's also in a movie called Paint the Town Red. And the biggest scene in that movie is where she ends up in a barn with Clint Eastwood, and Clint has his wicked way. And not a lot of consent was involved in that engagement. And she would tell us about this. It was like, this was the highlight of her acting career, was this scene with Clint Eastwood. So, Clint, I doubt he could have harassed that big red cock in the movie. I mean, Jesus, the guy, and there's this other stuff in the movie, like women going like, oh, look at this man, he's kind of cute. Like, they're looking. It's like, no, they zoom in on his face for this one scene, and it doesn't even look haggard and sexy. He looks like a man about a week away from death's door. It's like, and he's just got these eyes, which had black eyeliner around them. And it's really, what the hell is going on with this movie? I mean, and I imagine it was basically, there's no one in Clint Eastwood's life to tell him honestly, no, just no, don't do it. You're done. Just enjoy. Go and watch some of your old movies to remind you of how great you were. And then encourage your son who's living under your shadow. I mean, it would have been a good movie for Sean Eastwood because, it could have been done. I mean, they're massively mishandling a very complicated topic around child sex trafficking in the most stupid and superficial way. I don't know. I mean, I'm judging this movie based on watching half of it. Probably tonight I'll go and watch the other half. But if you want to laugh, if you want something that just a movie that's fascinating because it's basically a giant train crash, go and watch Cry Macho. Cry Macho. I mean, what's even in the name? Like, yeah. All right, that's ckscast number 10. It was, I whipped it out fast, a bit like a giant red cock. And yeah, go and do whatever you're doing, and don't do whatever you're doing. Whatever you're doing, don't do it. Do it. I don't know. I'm assuming that anyone even listens to this at this point. Based on analytics, I'm just talking to myself right now, but it's very reassuring to me. And me talking to myself, there will come a day where I'm like, Harry, you're too old for this shit. Stop making podcasts. Unfortunately, that makes me better than Clint Eastwood, who's not able to realize that it's time for him to stop making movies. Okay, until next time, guys.